and welcome back to Saffron Honey Chai. How you guys been? Enjoying the cold? I know last week was pretty brutal. The record-breaking snow and the single-digit temps. I I know you were very happy even if you didn't have gloves, right? You enjoyed that, didn't you? Didn't you? Well, one thing was keeping New Yorkers and maybe the rest of you as well very warm, and that was heated rivalry. Now, I'm not going to lie. Initially, I had no interest in watching Heated Rivalry, not because of anything specific about the content or the nature of the content. I was just like, another adaptation of a book made for TV or movies? Like, I like it, don't get me wrong, but haven't we done this enough? Is that not, are we not done? But my friend kept texting me, said, "Have you watched Heated Revelry yet? Are you gonna watch Heated Rivalry yet? Please watch Heated Rivalry." Not saying what it is, by the way. And this started in November of last year. She started reaching out to me, telling me, "Oh my God, this show is killing me. Please, you have to talk about it. You have to watch it. Please tell me how you think about it. Tell me what you think." And I said, "Okay, give me a second. I'm going to figure it out. It's on the list." And my list is like hundreds long. So I could watch it last year. I could watch it in 2028. We never know when I'll finally see this title. But I got the flu for Christmas. So I decided, why not just lay down and watch this show? And for some reason, I just so happened to not be able to stay awake most of the day. So I'd be watching this show at like 3 a.m. And good God, no better time to watch that show. Because what on earth do you mean this happened? What do you mean? Every I feel like every scene that I saw in that show drove me crazy. And mind you, I made sure I read the book first because, we all know the book is always better than the movie. So I read the book, didn't read all of Game Changers, even now. I read all of Heated Rivalry before I watched it. And I was like, wow, I wonder if the adaptation is going to be more, how do I put it, censored. And it was not. And it was not. It was like a little more tasteful because the book, if you guys are talking about the spicy scenes in the show, the book takes that up to 11. At a certain point, I was like, okay, I need to take a week-long break from this book because I need them to do other things. I, can we do macrame? Can we see some more hockey like on the ice, please? Because at a certain point, I thought, wow, these men are overly attached to say that these are little trysts happening months and years apart. They had a 12-year situationship just about and somehow turned it into a long-term relationship. And I must make this disclaimer. I have to make this disclaimer for you guys. If you are in your heart and soul thinking, that gives me hope for my situationship. No, baby, that's a fictional story. Your situationship is not going to pan out. That man doesn't love you. That woman doesn't love you. They're just having sex with you. Don't think that just because you guys have been sleeping together consistently for however many months and years, that, oh my God, we're going to be the next, Shane Hollander and Ilya Rozanov. Our love is going to make it out of the chat. It will not. It will not. And you must remember, it will never make it out. Don't let yourself be deluded by this story. It's well written. It's well shot. The adaptation is incredible, but you will not make it out of the 3 a.m. slot. I'm so sorry. They're not going to text you sober. They're not going to make it official. It's not going to happen. Please, 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 if you're watching this, don't wrap this up in your heart and think, oh, this gave me so much hope. Kill the hope right now. This is not Obama's time. Look at where we are. Look at the situation. Kill the hope right now. Right now. I'll wait. I'll give you a little time. Okay, should be dead by now. Good. But I will say the adaptation between the book and the screen was incredible. I like most of the things that they kept and a few things that they did change. Most notably, okay. And I was a little iffy about it at first. So initially in the book, Ilya Rozanov is this big, beefy Russian beast. He's big. He's got a lot of facial hair. He's wide and a little bit formidable. Like you look at Ilya Rozanov, you're a little bit scared. And then I turn on the screen, I see this guy. At first, I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. But in a piece of media on the screen, if you have a big, beefy white guy and then like a small, somewhat, minuscule like Asian guy, like mixed Asian guy, and you're trying to put these two together, and it's like it puts together a weird image. So I was not unhappy to see two twunks in love instead of a bear and a twink in love. I was like, okay, there's room for the bear somewhere, but I'll let these two I'll let these two little muscular men love each other. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. The book has a lot more detail and surprises though. So for many of you, when you saw that scene where Ilya is outside waiting, at Shane's like little high rise that he got in the city, and he's like, "You will kill me." You guys need to know that in the book, oh, this is how like sick and twisted Shane is for some reason. The building was dilapidated. It was not condemnable, but it was not looking good. So he was standing there in the middle of the night in downtown, looking around in an alleyway, going up some stairs that were just barely stable, and then entering an unfinished, frightening apartment that only had two components finished: the bathroom and the bedroom. He was certain he was going to get dextered. He knew it. Did he know it enough to run away for safety? No. But he was certain, oh my God. Oh my God, this is it. This is the moment that Hollander kills me. And I get it. I understand. I pissed him off too much. I understand. But you guys, you really missed out on that because it it simply wouldn't have looked good. You would have looked at Shane and like, oh, you're weird. Because when I read that in the book and that those were the only two parts that were available, I was like, wow, you are overly, overly freaked out. Respectfully, I'm so sorry. I don't know what you're up to, what you're made of, but good God, what a mess. Beyond that, beyond that, I do like how both of the actors really put their whole heart and soul into this. And then the press afterwards, because, back in the day when there was a gay romance on screen, it was like controversial and tantalizing, and everyone was shocked and surprised when they saw it. I still remember watching Glee in the late 2000s, early 2010s, and being stunned, shocked, and flummoxed when Klain and, more controversially, Karofsky had their moment, or rather, Kurtovsky had their moment. I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know we were allowed to do this on TV. That's really cool. And if you said anything too positive, now everyone's looking at you like, you pervert. And now the Canadian government has sponsored a 5 episode, to start, series of softcore the world has never seen before. We've really come so far because what do you mean Canada sponsored this? I have never seen anything like this in my life. Usually, when a show tastefully fades to black, it's not tastefully fading to black, just to fade back in and they're still hunching. Canada, what's going on up there? What's happening up there? Can someone talk to me? Can someone tell me about Canada? Because all I know is poutine, Niagara, and beautiful, beautiful tea shops. What is going on up there? Is this what your TV looks like? Because I'm expecting this from Scam France. I'm expecting this from any French product. But I guess the Quebecois, y'all, unbeatable. Another thing that I did think was very interesting about the adaptation is how dedicated the director was to actually making sure that it emulated the spirit of the book more than a frame for frame remake of the book. I do think a lot of the changes that were made with goodness in mind, and I do like that it seems like Rachel Reed had a lot to do with the book. and its adaptation besides just, getting her royalties. I love, 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 love that this opened a path for her to be able to get treatment. I did read an article about her getting treatment for Parkinson's because of this book, because now she can really afford it. That is so cool that a book she wrote like 10 years ago is now potentially going to save her life and give her a better quality of life and better well-being. And that's just because a bunch of us now have HBO Max or access to other streaming services and watched a show and then went on later on to read the books of all these hockey guys and other ice skating aficionado men falling in love. I think that's pretty cool. Do I wish there was a little more hockey? Yes. I kind of hoped that this would get me into hockey. It's typically when it's like a sports-based medium that can get you into the real thing. Not this one. Not this one. It did not get me into the thing. It did not get me into it. There wasn't enough hockey happening. That's my only gripe in the book and I know about the Stanley Cup. I know about a hat trick now, but I didn't feel like there was enough ice shenanigans, you know? I wanted to see more terminology, more things. I mean, granted, I know that's not why you guys are here. You're here because big, beefy hockey men, throwing each other around or whatever. But I, I want to enjoy the backdrop. I don't know. I come from the anime background. If it's a sports anime, you're going to learn a lot about the anime in the sport for some reason, a little bit too much, and you're going to have very strong opinions on things. When I watched some baseball animes back in the day, I used to learn how to actually play baseball a little bit better. I learned how to bunt. Now, why did my coach not teach me that? I don't know. But, I mean, don't let anyone watch this thinking they're going to learn anything about hockey. Granted, I'm an outlier and shouldn't have been counted in this endeavor, but I sincerely had hoped that I would have learned, a little something, but such is fate. Ultimately, it seems to have mass appeal. Many people like it, including Mayor Zoran Mamdani, who recommended it on live national television for a fun option to New Yorkers to partake in during their time being snowed in. Said, stay off the streets and stay home and read this book from your local library. And now the New York City Public Library is offering a heated rivalry in the entire Game Changer series for free. No wait in line for from now on the day this is being recorded until February 14th. This will go up about a week before it will come down from being free. So take advantage, reserve it, read it. Most of them are not that hard to read, rather quickly. Just put it on audio and then listen to it at double speed. You will make it through. And just, enjoy the way certain parts of it are written. Like the yearning. I really cherished and enjoyed the yearning so much because even though they had this physical closeness with each other in the book and in the movie, you could see based on the way they move around each other, based on the way they think about each other, just how much they truly yearned for each other. Like, there's love and then there's yearning. And it's I want to take this step, but I can't take this step because of various, reasons and instances. And it's just so, ah, it really added a certain flavor that you don't see a lot in different romantic media. Like, the yearning is insufficient, it's short, but this is 10 years of yearning stretched across, I wanna say 400 pages, and it's just, and even in the adaptation, I was so shocked that the TV show showed just how much yearning there was, how much was going unsaid even with the other things that were happening on screen. I was just delighted. Truly delighted. Man, what a book. What a life. What a series. Well shot, very beautiful. And the cottage was gorgeous. Good God. However, I must say, very, very silly of Shane to say, we'll have so much privacy in the cottage. The cottage his parents had a key to, the cottage that was basically a glass box in the middle of, the wilderness, right in front of a lake. Um, there's privacy because of, distance from the general public, and then there's a glass box. Please be so for real. That is not privacy. Immediately, as soon as they went there, like less than 48 hours later, their whole secret was blown by their parents, of course, but still, well, Shane's parents, Ilya's parents are, rest in peace. But what a show. I keep on saying that because I was really shocked and surprised by how much I ended up enjoying it. Um, Even though I wish someone had warned me that it was going to be just like, wow, in your face. Man, because people were talking about it, and I was just like, some people, they do hyperbole. And I'm going to say that because I saw a podcast, you know, and there was a bunch of guys talking about it, and they were like, wow, it's really out there. And, if a bunch of straight men are talking about, wow, it's really out there, I have to take that somewhat with a grain of salt. And I hadn't heard anything specific. Even my friend who put me onto the show, she didn't say, like, oh, it's super graphic or anything like that. She was like, well, it is a book, it is a show. You should check it out. Just let me know what you think. I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it. And my number one question was, are they nice to each other? Because that's important to me. She said they are sufficiently nice for your standards. And I trusted that. They were nice to each other. They were good to each other. Very good to each other in certain instances, it seems. But nonetheless, the show did go on. And I'm very excited to see how season 2 goes because I've just started reading The Long Game. I'm not finished yet, but I need to know how this goes, especially because Rachel Reed is coming out with a third book about this couple in particular. Now, I'm a little nervous because I've heard some spoilers about The Long Game. I'm not going to reveal them here because, no need. I'll do a book review. Don't worry. You guys will get a separate one. But I'm so excited about the thrilling conclusion because I know The Long Game, some parts are a little bit shaky. You get a little nervous for Shane in particular, I've heard. So I'm looking forward to finishing reading this book. So far, so good. We're loving the domesticity. We're loving how, the relationship has developed. And we're just loving how they're in a new, open, honest space with one another. I truly, truly, truly hope that if you haven't seen the show, that you give it a shot. And if you haven't read the book, that you definitely give it a shot, especially while it's free. Support your local library, man. It's expensive to run a library. It costs a lot of money. It takes a lot of time. Anytime you borrow a book, read a book, whatever, that helps the library so, so much. Even just walking in the door helps them. They need the foot traffic. They need the digital traffic. They need the emails. Please support them. As you know, I love to support the library and I want you guys to love it too. So please check it out. Enjoy this book for the free ski, or rather, for what your tax dollars already paid for, and give it a shot. See how you like it. It is graphic, though. This is not a PG-13. This is not even an R. This might be an NC-17 if it's a proper movie. This is Don't let teenagers watch this one. Don't If a teenager tells you, "Oh, I'm gonna go read the Rivalry," don't say, "Oh, have fun." Say, "What now? What do you mean?" But overall, enjoy. Stay warm. Don't get the flu because that was horrible. Make sure you get your flu shot. And with that, I'll see y'all next time. This was